the truth will come out soon.
I'm glad you said that, because the reason you're all so rattled is because the truth has come out. People are too busy fucking around in Chiang Mai, blowing smoke up each other's asses on YouTube. It doesn't make any sense. They don't have a plan. Harley doesn't have a plan. What's the plan? Like, where does Raw Till 4 go?
Strategically, we want to shut this clown down.
Okay, so this is the thing that first drew me into this video. I just randomly clicked on it. It was suggested in my feed. But when he gets to the part, he says, strategically, we need to take this clown down. It sort of fell to pieces at that point. So let's just delve a little bit deeper into the idea of there being a strategy in Chiang Mai. I'm assuming it's referencing Raw Till 4, the Raw Till 4 movement. Keep saying the vegan movement, but since Raw Till 4 doesn't represent the vegan movement, because the vegan movement is much, much bigger than just some people in Thailand cycling up a hill saying, if you've ever had an eating disorder, I will count you out when it comes to being able to have an opinion, having any criticism of me. And that's not helping anybody. So you go from helping to persecuting and diminishing the very people you set out to help.
Build his channel on bashing other vegans. How can and he's trying to tell other vegans that they're not good vegan activists, where this guy's activism is bashing other vegans.
If someone is criticizing you and that criticism is very close to the bone, by that I mean it's quite accurate, and you acknowledge that, somewhere in the back of your mind you're automatically going to get defensive when you can look at what the movement is about and who's representing it and whether anyone is representing it. Concentrate on ironing out the creases, tightening your case, so then you can always defend the message. Then that's how you improve your activism.
This guy is just a fucking troll coming into the community and just trying to sabotage the vegan movement.
Like, why would you bother trolling with intellectual debate? Doesn't make any sense. No.
And now Durian Rider wants to take this bitch down, and everyone's hating on Harley.
I wonder why that is. People are too busy fucking around in Chiang Mai, blowing smoke up each other's asses on YouTube. It doesn't make any sense. They don't have a plan. Harley doesn't have a plan. What's the plan? Like, where does Raw Till 4 go? He's just lining his pockets. He's making a living, like we all need to. It's not for the vegan movement, it's because that's his job now.
It comes to Chiang Mai June 1st. Why? June 1st, the start of the Raw Till 4 Bike Fest.
Raw Till 4 doesn't own Chiang Mai. It's a free festival. There's no gates to get in. You just follow some people up a mountain and do some question and answers that probably go the same. I mean, they must have answered the same questions 1,000 times. It can't be very stimulating because they're not looking outside the movement to see what other questions they should be answering. And that's exactly what à-bas-le-ciel is providing.
And while he's been here, he's been telling the vegan movement how riding your bike, eating out is not good vegan activism.
It's great for you, and I applaud you for doing that for you, but that's for you. That isn't activism. That doesn't affect anyone else. I mean, I get that you've got this lovely little bubble, and who wouldn't want to have that in paradise with a bunch of people who just want to kiss up to the same person, so you've all got this mutual appreciation of the same people. It's exciting. That's how they get you. That's exactly how they get you. It happened to me when I was like 16, 17. I was looking for a replacement for my family, so I joined a church and got sucked in because it was all like, oh, there's music and people are speaking in tongues, and I knew it was all rubbish, but like, you get swept along in the moment. That's exactly the same thing, right?
And the truth will come out soon.
I'm glad you said that, because the reason you're all so rattled is because the truth has come out. Like, the truth is coming out right now, and I'm not surprised that you feel rattled, because it's, like I said, it's your little bubble, it's your baby, it's the thing that you love the most in your life right now, and I don't know what your plan is for after the festival, but for now, you're having a lovely holiday.
Alright, this guy is not in it for veganism. It's apparent not.
I'm sorry, I know I keep stopping it after literally every word, but that's because literally every word makes me feel really irksome. How do we judge how connected people are with the vegan message? How do we rate people on the scale of in it for veganism, not in it for veganism? I don't understand how, like, if you were to judge someone who's saying, look, how do we organise ourselves in a fashion that is the most effective way of getting the world to go vegan. And then you've got somebody who's in Thailand with a bicycle riding up a hill. You understand what I'm saying, right? Surely, please understand what I'm saying.
The pedophilia act thing, who knows about that?
Well, Durian Rider obviously did, right? Because that's why he said it, because he had grounds to accuse someone else of paedophilia, right?
But if he wants to take legal action against Harley, it's like, why didn't Joe Best take legal action on you when you called him a predator in one of his videos?
There are vegans actively depicting and promoting bikinis and beaches and bicycles and buffets and plates full of fruit and showing off a lifestyle of self-indulgence, luxury, athleticism, healthy eating, but it's what I like to call a permanent vacation, right? Now, for a contrast to that, and look, sexuality is also a huge component of all this. Whether it's male virility or female sexuality, I don't have to spell it out for you guys. Look at any of these channels. It's part of what's being bought and part of what's being sold. The dream of a second youth for older people, and obviously for young people, it's a component of the transaction. Now, to contrast that, you can take a look at London Vegan Actions. They also have a YouTube channel, London Vegan Actions. They're young women of about the same age. I don't know anyone's age exactly in this comparison. London Vegan Actions, they're filming themselves, standing in front of a restaurant, chanting about foie gras, trying to get foie gras taken off the menu. They're doing street activism. One of their forms of activism was sitting in the subway, the London subway system, and showing video of slaughterhouse conditions, trying to get strangers interested in veganism. So, look, in a real sense, there is no difference between lifestyle veganism and vegan activism. Like, in real life, the same people who are doing these actions, who are attending these protests, they may go on vacation once in a while too. I don't know, maybe they never go on vacation. They're not depicting themselves as being on permanent vacation. They're not showing off what they eat for breakfast that morning. And they're not motivated by the fantasy that 10,000 people will watch a video carefully edited together of what I ate for breakfast this morning. But they still got to eat breakfast. And, it may be that some of the people who present the grimiest, grungiest, edgiest, most political and activist version of themselves, so that's what they choose to broadcast, that's what they choose to present to the world, engage with the internet, those same people, for all I know, they go on vacation in Thailand once in a while, or they have a breakfast buffet that's even more luxurious than anything you see on the so-called lifestyle vegan channels. So it's a distinction that's more apparent but real. But it comes back to our subject here in a kind of dynamic way. The homie Joe Best, who has gotten himself into a lot of trouble in the vegan community, the community that is not a community, he's put up a series of monologues basically complaining about how excluded he feels and that he's now going to stop even referring to himself as vegan and talking about the political implications of this. And he's saying, honestly enough, how hard it has been for him to be a guy transitioning from eating meat to veganism and to be accepted in the community with his own imperfections and so on. Now, look, the problem has been, and this is invisible to Joe Best himself because he's knee-deep in the game, and there's a sexual component to this. Joe Best, man, you aren't on that subway in London showing that film of slaughterhouse conditions. You're not at the slaughterhouse filming either, okay? You're not doing legit activism or political agitation or even public education of any kind, okay? If you were, the fact that you are a fat, bald, middle-aged man would not be such an obstacle to you. It really wouldn't. I'm probably older than Joe Best. So look, I mean, this is the brutally honest truth. Joe Best is complaining that he's not welcome in veganism. But the reality is he is just not welcome in the phoniest, shallowest side of lifestyle veganism. And of course he's not. That's the side of veganism where being beautiful matters, where being young matters, being athletic matters, and of course being 100% vegan matters. And his experience would be totally different, and he'd be complaining about something completely different if he were involved in, I don't know what to say, political veganism, real vegan activism, public education, any kind of charity work. I mean, if this guy were producing illustrated books to educate children about vivisection, he would have a level of respect from the community. The community does this completely different from the way he's regarded, because we all know the game he's playing there in Thailand. And I ain't even hating on the game. I'm not trying to shame you, Joe Best. I really do think that activism can mean very different things to very different people in different contexts. And political activism is going to be connected to how you live your life and your personal identity as you present it to others. Let's say, this is building on an example I mentioned in half a sentence earlier. Let's say you own a small hotel in Thailand, and you're struggling to be a vegan, and you're struggling to get recognition and respect from the members of the vegan community around you, okay? You're a Westerner, you're not ethnically Thai, you don't really speak the Thai language, you're an English-speaking Westerner living in Thailand. What can you do? Actually, I've had a couple videos really talking specifically about the political conditions in Thailand and the potential to make something happen through digital veganism. But here's what I'm saying right now. You have the stability, you have the money, you have this small hotel you're running. Let's say you talk to an illustrator, you talk to a publisher or a print shop, and you decide to make a children's book. All right? Here's my concept for a children's book. It's called Why Little Joe Can't Eat Ice Cream. It's a book for children and for vegan parents to read with their children. And it deals with the difficult fact that if you're raising your kids vegan, if you have a kid growing up vegan, all the other kids eat ice cream, why can't I eat ice cream? Ice cream looks harmless. Whatever, it's this white solid, or sorry, if it's chocolate, it's brown, but it's this, amorphous mass. If you look at a dead crab on a plate, you can see it's a dead animal. It has all its moving parts. It has eyes, it has legs, and so on. Ice cream in a bowl with colored sprinkles on it, it doesn't look like a dead animal at all. You can't see the harm it's doing. It's hard for adults to make that connection. It's really hard for children also. Can you write a children's book that just talks about a kid, maybe a kid trying to explain to another kid, hey, this is why I can't eat ice cream? And maybe you can have beautiful illustrations in there. You're not going to have gore. You're not going to have pictures of slaughterhouses or something. Maybe you can set out the case in a way that a child could appreciate, or that a parent can sit and read to a child. It says, yeah, you know what? It's actually meaningful to not eat ice cream, to not eat cow milk, even though when you go to school, it seems like everyone else is doing it. That's an artistic challenge. It's a challenge as an author. Obviously, it's all going to be written in simple sentences. If you were doing this and you own a small hotel in Thailand, get it translated. Print it with English and Thai. In some ways it's fleeting, but in some ways it lasts forever. Standing on a sidewalk, holding a sign and shouting, I can say both good and bad about it, I've said in an earlier video, a lot of the effects really are more like a rally. It's more like a benefit for the participants themselves than it is changing anything for the public. I'm not going to digress into talking about street protests here. There's a lot to say about it. And I have already said a lot. It adds up to a lot of minutes. But yeah, something creative, something durable, something that shares, a useful message with an audience that wants to hear it. But boy, that could be something really meaningful and positive that changes your life, that changes the way the people around you regard you as a vegan, as a potential activist. And it could form the basis for more organization, more meaningful connections and cooperation with people around you.
That is how you build a movement. You have to get in from the inside. You can't always be combative towards people, because that doesn't get them on side. So how about we use our collective skills? Veganism's the only thing that we all have in common. We all have different lives in different countries, doing different things, and having people from all walks of life, that diversity is so valuable, yet we're just, you're forming this little bubble of people that are all like you. How does that help anything? You need to get together and think, how do we form an exit strategy from a world that is built around accepting the use of animal products? We've got people protesting in my hometown about the fact that milk is cheaper than water to buy in the supermarket. You can't just kick all those people out in their ear and say, oh, we're doing veganism now, see you later. Veganism involves humans. We have to be wise and we have to be clever. And what à-bas-le-ciel brings to this is that he is very clever, and he will criticize everybody, not just people he doesn't like. He criticizes people that he does like, people that he's talked about in his videos. He will call them out on things that they're doing wrong, and by doing that they solidify their message, they hone it, they improve it, they respond to that feedback, and that's such a valuable thing.